Still locked into the Entertainment Weekly and KLAS Sports FM 89. And in keeping with the Reggae Month special, we'll be featuring legends in the music, both from production and artist side. And today we got definitely what you would refer to as a legendary producer, and there's with us, Gussie Clark, or should I say Augustus Gussie Clark.
I'm good, whichever way. Still me.
How are you, Sir Clark?
I'm good, man. I have to be good.
And you know, we have so much to talk about and so much music to play. Music that people probably hear over the years and don't even know that you're associated with some of these famous tracks.
The higher the mountain,
well, this is the first one.
the cooler the breeze.
That's why we're starting with this one.
The warmer the copper, as I will tell it to you. Good God, the tighter the squeeze, as I will tell you.
Baby, I love you. I love you, baby. Oh, baby, I want you.
When I say that love is real and pure, baby, I mean love is something that doctors can't cure. And I would give it just a little bit more. So baby, come on down to work your show. Good gosh, still I love you the most. And baby, you can hear when I tell you I think you're the most now it goes. Good gosh, from pillar to post. So baby,
And featured on this track are two voices of two of our most legendary entertainers over the years, Daddy Uri and Errol Dunkley.
Yeah.
And I played the song to start with because this is actually a song that started your production career.
Yeah, it's the first production I've ever done.
So you see I did a little bit of homework.
Well, it looks so better than most radio personnel. Them just play and don't know the history, and sadly it's foreigners that know the history, you know, so I appreciate that.
Alright, so Sir Clark, let's start with where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in St. Mary, but I grew up in downtown Kingston, 81.5 Church Street. So I'm basically
Right in the music vicinity.
Yeah, right at the tip of two days, Big Youth, all of that Spanglers era, downtown in the middle of everything.
Alright, what was it that drew you to music? As in, just most of us just listen to music and enjoy it, but what drew you to be a part of music?
I think that personally, I am a person who has a whole lot of creative ambitions. And somehow I grew up in an era where the music was evolving and the sound system era and being downtown and dance a keep and, you know, just bitten by the bug of music, and I just evolved. So, you know, I tried things that I never liked. Tried to be a printer. I tried to be an electrician. But that was not where my passion lied. So I just, you know, I just end up where I should be. It's a good place. It's been a good journey.
Alright, how did it actually start for you?
Well, how it actually started is, I mean, historically is, you know, you go Kingston College and you have your like a bicycle and you still ride early morning time and save up your money and buy parts, make a amplifier, and, you know, you swap the amplifier with Witty for a transformer, and you make a, you know, for your birthday, give your mother pay to make a technician make a tube amplifier. Then you swap the tube amplifier with Errol Dunkley for use a rhythm, and you started in terms of entering the industry. But prior to all of that, I loved it so much that even when I was going to school, the only place I really enjoyed was really woodwork. So I start make speaker boxes, start make a sound system. And then I started importing foreign records and cutting dub upstairs in my house, and, you know, buy a old dub machine from Duke Reed, and, you know, just one to the other and start create your own specials and buy sound effect albums. And, you know, you could buy, at the end of them day, you have 8-track cassette. So in them days, Duke Reed and Studio One, then put the rhythm on one of the track and the voice, and so, you know, remove the rhythm them and created specials and dub, and, you know, your Fisher reverb and make all kind of version for sound system. So I just evolved.
So technically you were producing without even realizing you were producing.
Yeah, you are correct. You are correct.
Because that's definitely producing, just that it wasn't for resale in the general sense, but that's where producing starts from.
Yeah, man, that's where it began. And actually, I probably had the first home studio in Jamaica. Because I had a studio upstairs now, board house upstairs where the dub machine was and with voice people and voice all Jacob Miller inside of my closet, you know. So it's a whole lot of
So all these Pro Tool guys today who think they're the first one to voice in closets and bathrooms, it's just coming full circle.
No, we started all that long time, but technology now makes it a bit easier. But you have people who are less competent with the technology and is relying too much on the technology, while the technology is actually trying to sound like analog. So it still shows that the best combination, the best end product is usually a combination of both. Because if the original is analog, and you know having digital sampling analog to sound like analog, so if you have analog you could, so using both.
Exactly. All right, so at what point now did you actually get to the point of producing your first song?
Well, as I said, it began after my involvement with so much different people, like I said, importing foreign records in the island, right? Exporting Jamaican records to the UK. So all the sound system people in Jamaica was coming to me at Church Street. So dealing with so much of them, and then you get the dub machine, because how I relate, I'm right here now, I know the next 4 things I'm going to do when I leave here. So at any point in time, I tend to outside of the box, although I am here.
Right.
So I just knew that I had to go to a next step. So the next step was, how do I capitalize on having all of these sound system people coming to me, buying my records, and everybody want to get the edge over everybody? So I'm like, okay, how do we create music when nobody do have everybody look the edge, the advantage? So they were doing it physical record. So now we started doing it with dub plates. So all of that, and I realized, but I have a audience. So all of the top producers, the Channel One, them Lee Scratch Perry, 90, all them give me tapes, and I could have cut dub because I was actually like promoting their music and getting paid then. So like, you know, I'm like, okay. And then I said, okay, this home studio thing not going to work out so much. So how do I get to having a real studio? Because I already have, you know, sound system, the producers, you know, you're coordinating with the musicians. So everything just was just coming together, like really gelling perfectly.
Right.
And that's how it ended up.
All right. So at the time, though, you didn't have your own studio at the time that you did your first professional recording.
No.
What studio did you use?
Ah, God, that might have been Randy's studio, 17 North Parade downtown, when E.T. was the engineer. Right. But I did some engineering work even at King Tubby's too.
Right, yeah, I remember hearing of that.
Yeah, man.
All right, so there's no way we're going to have somebody like you in the studio and just be talking and not featuring some of the music.
Make good sense.
So let's start with this one. This song now is one of those songs that over the years, I mean, from the song came out, it's been popular since. Many people have done different versions of even this same song, and it's still very current today. So let's hear it.
Pass the coach on the left hand side. Pass the coach on the left hand side. Jano, pass the country on the
I'm not even able to play the music as long as I'd like to, because there's so much that I want to feature and there's so much to talk to you about that the time is just not sufficient. But you know, even in choosing the songs that I wanted to feature, presented a very difficult task to narrow them down to an amount that we can use, because there's just so many songs to choose from and so many songs that are favorite of just me, but a lot of people. But looking at it, you did an album as well, or maybe more than one with Mighty Diamonds, but this particular song, do you remember the making of this song?
Yeah, to a point. Basically, what this song did really, it is a point of education and understanding and development for me in the music industry. So we look over our studio one rhythm, and Mighty Diamonds, we're working on a project and voice the song. I asked them, told them write the song and voice it. It became a phenomenal hit. Musical youth in the UK like the song and
they passed the Dutchie.
And the rest is history again. But what it really learned me is that, rather taught me, is that anytime you do things the wrong way for the right reason, at the end of the day, it can have adverse effects. So, for example, when all the song came out and all the money was being made from the whole side of copyright, I had nothing to do with it. So, in essence, I created something that make everybody make money except me. I mean, real money, not real money. I made money. But what happened now is that I recognize and that I need to understand the whole issue of copyright, and I use that advantage, and now we are the largest music publisher in this side of the probably Caribbean.
And you look at it now, when this song came out, the original rhythm, as you said, studio rhythm, full up rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody today, very few people today knows it as full up. Everybody calls this rhythm Kochi. Which just goes to show the impact that this song had and still has.
Yeah, man, it did. It's
because even people who have licked over the rhythm since then, they call it Kochi.
That is true.
So your song literally named this rhythm. Now, you, in those early days, I don't know how many people were doing it back then, but in the early days, you started doing a lot of pairing of artists,
mm-hmm.
which saw very great success. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to get to some of the artists you have worked on, but this, for me, is one of my favorite pairings of yours and one of my favorite songs from your studios. Continue with some more of the music and some more conversation after this break.
I'm hurt by love. Try your best just to make it quick. On my train to the stick. Cause it must be be something she can do. This heart is broken in two. Tell her it's a case of emergency. There's a patient by the name of Gregory. Night nurse, only you alone can quench this distress. My night nurse, make it real. Oh, the pain is getting worse. I don't wanna see no doctor. I need attendance from my message around the clock. Cause there's no prescription for me. She's the one and only remedy. Night nurse, is your pain getting worse? Only you alone can quench this distress.
Still locked into Entertainment Weekly and KLAS Sports FM 89. Still got in the house with us, legendary Gussie Clark. Now, this is not the familiar or the common version of this song. Tell us a little bit about this cut.
Well, I have always believed that anything you and I can do, anybody can do it. But you and I should do things differently because difference is what brings success. Gregory Isaac was not known for singing in this kind of slow jam groove, and everybody know Night Nurse as, you know, in a different style, format, genre. So I said it's a real cool, great song. Why don't we do it different in a way that has never been done? And that is how we did this, and we brought in, you know, Pamad and Hard Libs and J.C. Lodge and Nadine Sutherland, and, you know, we just created a different version. I'm always looking at doing things differently, you know, because I don't follow.
Definitely.
You know.
All right. Now, the list of artists that you have worked with is endless. So we already established that you worked with Dennis, worked with Gregory. Tell us some of the Mighty Diamonds. Tell us some of the other people. You have even worked with international artists as well.
Probably the list is actually who I didn't work with. I mean, yeah, you can Jimmy Cliff, Barry Salmon, Maxi Priest, Hazwad, Freddie McGregor, Cocotti, and it goes on and on. Trust me, if I ever try to remember them, wouldn't stop.
Now, working with artists is one thing, but you created hits with these people. Like Maxi Priest, just a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah Glasgow.
Champion Lover.
J.C. Lodge.
Telephone Love.
And of course the Telephone Love remix as well.
Remixes. I'm always remixing my own songs.
Now, talking about that Telephone Love and that rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm.
That rhythm was originally from this song. And this, while this song was a hit in Jamaica, I think Telephone Love it was a hit in the UK.
Yeah. Telephone Love basically was a hit. UK, US, most places.
But I'm talking about simultaneously at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So you were basically running Jamaica and the UK at the same time.
Yeah, and I want to tell you, look, I don't believe in this one rhythm, 20 people voicing on it, really.
Right.
But why I did that one with the Rumors rhythm is that I knew of many producers who was trying to, as we were just saying in them days, a lick over the rhythm. But we had a technological advantage and we had a whole production advantage. I had, you know, great writers like the Mikey Bennett, Hopeton Linda, Carlton Hines, and I had a team of the best mixing engineers, Stephen Stanley. So I had a great team. So we just said, let's beat them to it. So we just beat them to the whole thing, and you know, that's it.
Because one of the things that happen a lot in these days, you know, people lick over rhythm, maybe change the drum a little bit or change something a little bit to try and hide it,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially it's the rhythm.
Yes.
Give it a different name and people just say, boy, I make a bad rhythm and not even recognize that. It's actually, the reason why this rhythm grabs us so much is because it is keep reminding us of this rhythm that we know and love because it's really made from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the time when you did this project, you had just recently built your studio, I think, as well.
Yeah. And Yeah, and that kind of changed the sound a bit of where reggae was. Because what all the studio came about is that we were producing and doing records and all of that. And, you're working in everybody's studio. And, it's like you're saying you don't have enough time for do what you do. You need the privacy. So let's build our own studio. And in those days, again, everybody had one brand equipment, MCI. Dynamics was the dealer for it. And I'm like, there must be other equipment out there. When the UK, we found a great company called Hamek. We found Otari machines rather than MCI. And it was kind of just about then digital was coming in. So our sound was totally different from the status quo. So the sound was different.
So we could say you made the Otaris popular in Jamaica then?
I think we had the first Atari machine in this country. Definitely had we had about 3 of them. Yeah, man.
And definitely people started to gravitate to your studio to get this new sound that you were producing.
It's the nature of the industry, Whoever, is doing good or in this day and age themselves, the hot producer or the hot studio or the studio making hits, people just follow. But we had it more value to it than just a sound, Our songs were totally different. The sound was different. Our production was different, You're bringing background vocals. You have collabs with 2 singers and DJs. And, we brought a little bit more musicality to the music from a perspective of not just a solo artist. We had instrumentals, sounding a bit different. So we had some different values and it worked. It impacted.
All right. Because we have such little time, I'm going to try and compress some questions to get some stuff out. If you were to think about what you would say is your greatest legacy in the music, what would it be?
God, I guess being able to stand up and be myself regardless of what people want to think. Because every guy in this industry, every record producer by some artist's definition is a thief. But it don't bother me because when them don't realize that when them start produce themselves, them is a thief too. Yep. So, it don't bother me. But I have learned that if you have a vision, you need to follow it. But you need to be careful. You need to be the best of what you can be rather than the worst of what you want it to be. I started having a sound system. I realized that's not it. I started cutting dubs, importing records and exporting records. That's not it. I started cutting dubs and learning engineering. I said, that's not it. None of those were my calling. And I felt, in my own language, I smell the money the other side of the console. So record production was what I liked, and I went for it. It's like, I know there's so much things you can see which is just wrong in the industry now. Like, for example, there's a trend for artists come and tell you, boy, I do my LP or I do my EP. My first question to him is, have you ever done a single with hit or so? No. So why you want to do LP if you can't make one good song? Why people going to want 10, 12 a song? It don't make no sense. They have a next set of kid come, boy, I have a nice little hip hop tune and and I'm saying but the world is gravitating to our music. Them not short of people that do hip hop tune. Why you want to leave yours for the foreigner take it for go take up for them one where them no need? So there's so much conflict in people trying to sing for 30, 40 years and not going anywhere, but they have gained so much experience. They could be a producer, could be an engineer, could be an artist manager, could be a PR person, but they just want to stand up on the stage in front of the mic. You have to know your pride. Me personally, anywhere me smell the money, me go. And that is just my way of it because it's a business. And if you don't do it to be profitable, you're going to lose. And people come and want you to do all kind of things, spend your money, do all kind of things, and later say you're a thief.
Yep.
Not me. Not me.
What song or what album or what artist would be your most memorable moment as a producer?
I would say Gregory Isaacs. But you know what is funny? Us in the industry remember Gregory Isaacs more for him humor, natural humor, than him as an artist. And that is one person who has impacted so much people's life in this industry. He's the most quick-witted human being I have ever met. Gregory Isaac, it has to be.
Definitely. I've heard stories about him in that regard before.
Trust me.
What would you, off the top of your head, what would have been your biggest hit?
For me, the biggest hit is the song that would have made the most money. To me, that would have been Champion Lover, or the Shabarang's version, Mr. Loverman.
Definitely a big hit. Just a ballpark figure. How many hit songs has Gussie Clark produced?
That bigger than me. You're right, bigger than me now. How my mind works. When I do a project and I'm done and I believe I am satisfied with where we are, I move on to the next song. That's just what my head works. But it has been a lot. It's been a great journey. And I have had a great team that contribute to it, like the Mike Bent, the Upton, the Carlton, and Stephen Stanley. It wasn't about Gussie Clark, but yeah, I was the captain of the ship. But I had some good shipmates, and they added value to where I am today. And they are still my friends. Nothing has changed.
And now, Gussie Clark didn't just produce in the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s. You are constantly working and constantly broadening the repertoire. And you have a current project now.
Well, I am back. Let's put it this way. I am back. I have two current projects. One of them is called Even a Gangster EPX. You have never heard of anybody having an EPX. So what we created, in the history of music, there has never been 10 multi-genre remix of the same song by the same artist. And we have done that with an artist called Kevin the Artist. The world has never seen anything like that. Other than that, we have what's called Gussie Clark Dub Anthology. It's a box set with over 82 original dubs from the 70s and 80s with a video with all the original sound system operators. It's a collector's item. Those are the current project, and we're going a step further in terms of dub anthology. But for me, I have to find an artist who is unique. For example, Kevin, I said to people, is mannerable, is manageable, is marketable, and that makes him investable. Because I don't need nerdy car no more pick me right now. So I just want people who are intelligent and have exceptional talent, and we will invest and develop them, and we're going back there. So we're in a good place.
You first and the I come after. You ride on my medulla oblongata. Your Victoria's Secret turn secret rapture. Because now it's gone, we don't even have a clue. Does it even matter? My life is a book, baby, read a chapter. I circle your life like a real protractor. Believe me when me tell you, say even a gangster falls in love. Everybody needs someone to hold.
So that's a reggae version of Even a Gangster. And how many different versions you said there are?
10 different multi-genre remix featuring I have songs with Shaggy, Pamal, Boom Boom, Sky Juice, reggaeton, Afrobeat. We send to all Africa. People create beats down the feet. Nothing like this has ever happened in the history of music.
Shout about it to my Clyde.
Even a gangster falls in love. Everybody needs someone to hold. Even a gangster falls in love. Everybody needs someone to hold. What kind of life is this? Girl, you know I've been trying so.
So that's just 2 of the 8 genres. So anybody, whatever kind of music you like, you should be able to find a cut that suits your taste.
Yeah, man. It shows the versatility of the artist, and it's an innovation.
And this is out, so they can go and get this.
Yeah, man. It's available on all digital platforms.
And the box set is available in a physical. You need to get the box set physically because.
Yeah, the box set is not just digital download. It physical makes sense because, for example, physical has a DVD with all the original sound system operator explaining and engineers how dub came into play. It has an 11x17 poster. So there's a difference between the digital and the physical box set.
Sir Clark, how can people know what's happening with your music and your label? Social media, how can they contact you and keep up to date with you?
Social media, nearly everything, Gussie Clark Music Group. Rebrand the whole thing to make it a little bit simpler. So just Gussie Clark Music Group and nearly everything, that's where we are.
It's definitely been a pleasure having you. Time is too short for this kind of discussion, but it was definitely a pleasure.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and thank you.
You're most welcome.
Bring it up slow. Shake, shake, what your mama gave you.